Welcome to this look at a new / converted map on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. This is Baltic Sea. This is a new map to FS19, but it's been converted over from FS17 by Redkeinstus. This will use 429.5 megabytes. It is seasons ready. We're going to get some of the facts and figures out of the way first before we whiz round the map itself. There are no custom crop types on this, it's standard crops, but there are some really nice textures. This is a conversion over, but what I will say on my quick whiz round to just re-familiarise myself with the map, it does say on the Modhub on the Farming Simulator website that the map has been converted, but it has been, most of the map has been redesigned, and I would have to say it does feel like a new map, like a completely refreshed and reinvigorated map, which is really cool. There are some required mods on this. If you're on console, you'll need the machine hull by DMI 20mm Normandy, which is what it says on the website. Actually, in the Modhub, it then says machinery shed by DMI 20mm Normandy. Now, DMI 20mm Normandy has brought out loads of mods. I think it automatically downloads, because when I went to look for it, it already said on mine installed, which I don't recall installing. So I think when you download the map, it automatically will download it. If you're playing on PC, it does say you'll need the manure system and the manure system lagoon by Wopster and by Vertex Design. So if you are on PC and you're watching this, you're going to need those. Those may automatically download as well, but I'm not too sure for PC how that works. So we start here at the main farm. This is another really nice picturesque map, lovely area. The changes to this, honestly, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. What we'll do is have a look on the map. So where do we actually start? Well, we start slap bang in the middle. This map is a kind of what's the word for it? It's not a spit. Oh, it will come to me. Anyway, regardless, you're surrounded on three sides by water, which does give a really nice feel as well. We've got some sort of flooded inland waterways and all sorts of stuff, which is great. I do my map tours on New Farmer. On New Farmer, we start with a fair bit, in all honesty. We've got the main farm here with fields 1, 6 and 5. We start with field 8, 18, 17. We also start with the sheep farm, which is up the top here. We do have 2 farmhouses on this, and if a map maker puts them on as a kind of standard in-game feature, that's fantastic. But there's going to be a warning that comes with that in a minute. Biogas Plant is already owned. If you're on New Farmer, fantastic, you already get the Biogas Plant, don't have to pay for it. However, if you do come on, start from scratch, or Farm Manager, the Biogas Plant is 423,936 to buy. We do start with field 36, which is a cow pasture down the bottom there. There is a silo here, I think there's a silo down there as well. Which are all built in, so the farmhouses and the silo are built in. We do have pigs, chickens and cows also here at the main farm. But here comes the warning, and this is a bit worrying. If you come on here on New Farmer, as I am now, with the machinery and everything, you've used 806 out of 1299 slots. Fair enough, that's fairly high, but not okay, fair enough. If you come on Farm Manager or start from scratch, that drops down to 743. You still have all the machinery, but you don't have the farm building, like the machinery shed. But what you also don't have is all this land. What you also don't have are the farmhouses and the animal enclosures, which is fairly normal, fairly typical for a map if you come on start from scratch or Farm Manager. But what I then did was use some of the money and bought this plot of land. If you buy this plot, just the farm, is 351 grand. When I bought that plot, none of these icons came up. They didn't reappear. Normally, if you don't own the land, they're not there. When you buy it, all of a sudden the icons appear. They didn't appear. So I went round the farm and it would not allow me to buy any cows. I tried the pigs, it wouldn't let me to, because those icons weren't there. The map was kind of saying you don't own them, but I had bought this plot of land. So just be wary, this may well need an update. If you do like playing start from scratch or Farm Manager, it's a bit of a gamble. I'll just put that out there right now. Just be wary of that. This pasture also had gone, these icons had gone, as had the sheep one too, and the house triggers there. So it's just a warning, just so you know. Field prices themselves aren't too bad. They do vary in price from very, very cheap down here, field 29 for about 52 grand, up to, what's a fairly big field, 38's a fair size, 446 grand. You do start with a few fields, so if you do want to go on New Farmer and sell a few of these plots off, you can get a little bit more money back into your bank account if you want to start off a bit smaller and then go from there. That's entirely up to you. As you can also, if you want to, sell the biogas plant and then build up to buying that if you want to, but that is entirely your choice. There are a few forested areas which again aren't too expensive to buy. We can buy them in little plots like so. There's another one over here as well. So you can do a bit of forestry if you want to, which is lovely. So we're going to do a kind of spiral out clockwise route around the map. We've covered those. Contracts are available. Mustn't forget the contract side of things. Contracts are available, as it shows there. What else have I got on my list that I mustn't forget? If you decide, actually, as far as the slot count goes on console, if you decide to get rid of everything, if you want to come on and do New Farmer, but kind of a start from scratch idea, if you sell everything, get rid of every piece of machinery and everything, you can bring your slot count down to 603, which isn't bad actually. I don't think. That's my own personal opinion, but anyway, so your farmhouse is here, and like I say, that's integral, so you can't sell that. That's not part of the things you can sell. But the detail around here, when I said, you know, it has such a lovely feel to it, like it's a kind of lived-in farm, or kind of it's built up over time. I don't know, I really, really like this. Some fantastic features. Like I say, textures are great. What I love down the front here as well. If you played on this on FS17, some of this will be familiar, but like I say, the textures, the colour palette, everything just seems crisper, cleaner, there's more detail. It just seems to be more padded out, you know. I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like I think I probably said before, it's the difference between needing to wear glasses and everything being a little bit blurry, then putting on a new pair of glasses and suddenly thinking, wow, I can see properly. It is night and day. I personally think, like I say, but some lovely features with the little, you know, the rivers and the irrigation ditches, drainage ditches, however you want to refer to them. So as we go around, the chicken coop is here. So we've got our buy and sell. There's no load or unload with chickens, just there. We've got our feed trough and the egg boxes appear here. We've got machinery sheds with various different bits of equipment. We'll have a look at the equipment we start with in just a moment. Our cow shed is just here. The other thing I really like about this, especially the main farm here, is everything is kind of tiered. It's that feel that the farm has gradually expanded and it's kind of built into the landscape, you know. It's gradually evolved over time. These kind of stepped buildings with ramps and bits of machinery tucked away all over the place. I don't know, it just has a very real feel to it. So cow shed, water trough. I do like the water troughs when you've got either side, so you don't have to come into the pasture, the area, to actually refill the water. You can do it from either side, which is a nice feature. I like that. So you've got a bit of a pasture there for the cows. As we come around again. So your buy, sell, load or unload for the cows is around the back of the shed here. Feed and straw trigger is just inside there. So as we keep coming around, I think the manure comes out here. And we have got a slurry pit just over here. Like I say, with loads more storage, you've got so much stuff just tucked away all over the place. It's I dare to use the word wonderful. It is a wonderful map. Now we do have the silo here, and like I say, this is built in as well. This is not, you can't sell it. We do start on New Farmer with a few crops in here, but your unload is here. Then when you want to take stuff out of the silo, it's underneath here. Plenty of shed machine storage space, and again more equipment over here. Now if I recall correctly, I'm trying to think, were the sheep over here originally? They might well have been. So it's one of the parts of the redesign. We've got bunker silos all over the place. There's loads on here actually. More machinery sort of spread up the hillside there. Our pig enclosure, buy, sell, load, unload, is just there for your pigs. With your feed trough on the front. Water is put in from the side here. I think the old Stream Farm had this same setup. So you fill it up from here, the water comes from this container along these pipes. You have these cups, and what happens is as the animals drink and the water level drops, these refill. It's really cool. So that's your water and feed, and then bedding. I think, not sure, bedding usually, well, on the previous version of this, was in here. You backed in and unload the bed in here, which is likely to be the same on this one. Carry on around the back here, again, more machinery, more equipment. This I love. Now, this isn't a refill point, it's just here for kind of decoration, but the detail, the level of detail and the attention to detail on here is brilliant. I love the whole PPE thing, you know, it's just brilliant, with the overalls hanging on the wall. More bunker silos here. I think these might be additions as well from the previous versions. We've got 2 bunker silos there, one around the front. There's one up the hill that we're going to get to in a minute. That in essence is the main farm. That's your main farm area with your chickens, your cows and your pigs. We're going to go and grab, I think, what we're going to grab? The Massey Ferguson, I think, and we're going to start our route round. I may miss something. I apologise if I do. There's so much on here. It's absolutely brilliant. Should I go with the Massey or should I go with the Fent? I'll go with the Massey, I think. So as I get into the Massey, what I will do is drop these forks off. There are a few bales dotted around the farmyard itself. Those bales aren't ones you can pick up. I did have a go. I thought I would try. If you are watching this and you watched my mod review yesterday, where we had the John Deere that had the ability to have a front loader on it, the big John Deere. Mine's gone blank now. The John Deere 8RT US series. A lot of people commented because I couldn't get the front loader forks on, and I said that they did work. I couldn't get them on. People told me I was using the wrong ones and they wouldn't work, and you had to move the steps. They do work. They did work. There is another set knocking about that you can download and you can use from the Modhub. They did work. It was my fault. Because when you hook up, you drive in and do this. I had a bucket on the front and I had the bucket in the wrong position, so when I disconnected it, the front loader forks dropped down and the whole assembly tilted backwards, which meant I then couldn't reattach to it. So if you are watching this and watched that yesterday, that's why. There's nothing wrong with the mod itself, it all works perfectly well. So what we're going to do is drive through the yard. Sorry, I just thought I'd throw that in there just in case you did watch that one yesterday and you are watching this today, rather than doing a whole amendment. Which way are we going to go? Right way through, I think. And we'll crack on. It's not a huge map, but I think because there's so much to see, it just, you know, I often find with map tours you start off with the best intentions. I've missed my turning, haven't I? I have. I meant to go up this side. It's a maze. Here we go, this is where I'm going. Up this one here. So up out the farm, we're heading north. If you look across the fields, you can see what I mean about the textures, and it just looks a little bit different. It's by no means unique. There are plenty of maps that do have custom textures and different things on them, but I just really like the look of it. Your grasswork machinery is all up here. That's what I was going to do, actually look at the machinery. And we've got another bunker silo just up the top here, which I believe was on the original one, but again it's all just been padded out, bulked out, more detail added, which I love. So before we move on, let's do this and do this. So what do we start with? Well, we start with Massey Ferguson 5613. We've got the Fiat 1300 DT, Fent 724 Vario. So 3 tractors off the bat, pretty good going. Massey Ferguson Activa. We've got a TKD Agroliner trailer and a HW80 Fortschritt. The header for the harvester. Then we've got plough, cultivator, Rapid A600S seeder. We've got a fertiliser spreader. We've got a slurry spreader, side mower. We've got a rake, windrower, loading wagon, feed mixer, water container. So as far as animals go, you're pretty much set to go. You know, a couple of front loaders, some buckets and attachments. We've got header trailer as well, and then this is the mod, the haul for crops and machinery. In the Modhub it says machine shed, on the website it says machine haul, but like I say, I think that's the one that it automatically downloads. As far as I can tell, it automatically downloads. But like I say, there's no farmhouses, no animal pens, they're all integral to the map. So that's what you start with. So heading north, we're going to go under this bridge to start off with, and then we're going to head along the coast east till we get to the sheep farm. And I hope as we go around you kind of get a feel for the map, the terrain, the texturing, the detailing, the colour palette. It's all, you know, I say that it's just all the attention to detail, the little extras that you don't really kind of pay much attention to, but all add to the overall aesthetic of the whole thing, which I again, I'm going to mention, I really like. Just in case you missed that the first few times I mentioned it. I'm actually wondering whether we're going to get round to the first store before 9 o'clock. We might not do. If we don't, doesn't matter, but I'll explain when I get there. Sorry, it's just a thought that popped into my head. So coming up on our left is our second farmhouse. So there are 2 sleep triggers. And as we come up in here, more barn space, and down the back tucked away we've got the sheep pen. Which again, fantastic layout. I'm really liking this. So we've got in here is where your wool pallets will spawn. Here we've got our feed trough. Water trough is out in the field just there, and if we come down the side you've got a gate there to get in if you want to go in that way, but down the side here we've got our gate for our buy, sell, load or unload, which is just here, of our sheep. So that kind of thing of unloading them out into the pasture and off they go, it's kind of here again, really picturesque, really nice lush green, you know, meadow. It's, I don't know, it's cool, it's all good. So that's your sheep. And like I say, just be careful. I'm not sure why on Start From Scratch and Farm Manager they're not showing up. And it was, my initial thought was, oh, you need to own the land, that's fine. But then when I bought it, the icon still didn't come up. I know I've said that before, but I just want to reiterate it, just as a warning. So, continuing east, we may get there in time. Now, according to the website, it does say on the details for this that the gate's at dealers, so all of the various different stores, shops, biogas, those kind of things, they open at 8 AM and they close at 8 PM. So if you want to sell anything between the hours of 8 PM and 8 AM, so all the way through the night, they're closed. You can't actually get them. That kind of simulating real life where places do actually close. Although, when I went around this map earlier, I got to the first sell point at 8:30 and the gates were shut. So I sped up time, and at 9 o'clock they opened, not 8 o'clock. So potentially it's 9 till 9, not 8 till 8, maybe. But the first of our sell points we're going to come to is this here. We've got the ranch, and we've got the barn. So we've got barn sell point just here to the right, and then we've got the ranch sell point, which is just here. Sosnovka. I knew I remembered this from somewhere. I was just trying to think. This seems very familiar. Back out onto the road. Now we're heading down south on the eastern side of the map. Again, all these lovely details. Oh, it's just, yeah, looks great. Where are we going? We might get there just in time actually. 8:58. One thing I will say is the corn. Look at the height of the corn. That's some seriously growing crop, that is. Wow. So when we get here now, the gate is shut. We cannot get in. if I go up to it to open the gate, nothing happens. So what I'll do very quickly, let's just speed up time a second. There you go. 9 o'clock. The gate's open. That was nothing to do with me, that's automatic. That was rather fortuitous getting here at that time. So here we are at, was it Hagen? Sorry, I'm just saying words out loud. So we have gone from the farm out north up here, round across the sheep farm, then we've come east, heading south, we've done the barn and ranch, now we're down here, yeah, Hagen. So at the Hagen sell point, which is like the harbour, and then we've got Lyme Station here as well. So the sell point there, Hagen, is just there. The line point is just round here. As far as I can tell, it's underneath here. There's a pipe just underneath there. That's your line point. Should go the right way. So, continuing on to the next sell points. First up is going to be the biogas plant. So first up, the next we're coming to is going to be the biogas plant. It's nice, it's got a sweeping, rolling landscape. It's not all flat, but there are enough flat spaces that placeables and buildings and farms and stuff shouldn't be a problem. I haven't tried placing anything, and often I get kind of caught out by that, and I say, oh, it shouldn't be a problem. Then people message and say I couldn't place anything. Unfortunately, it depends how the map maker modder has designed it, what layers and textures are beneath it, because you've got to remember all these maps are made up of various different layers and textures, and then there's the water level, and there's all various different things that can cause problems. Or the map maker modder has gone out their way to make sure everything does work and will place it. You know, unfortunately I can't try everywhere on a map for placeables and things, and the one place I don't look will be the one place everyone says, oh, I couldn't place my stuff there. Just is what it is. So biogas plant, 2 big bunker silos, like I say, on New Farmer. We own this already, you don't have to pay for it. I do like these silos that you can empty into from the back, so you can drive up and tip backwards into them and kind of fill from the back that way rather than from the front in. It depends how you want to go about it, but again, nice feature, kind of built into the hillside as it sweeps down. We've got a ramp up to the anaerobic digester, and that there is the machine hall, machine shed, the required mod. If you come on this on Start From Scratch and Farm Manager, you don't own that, you don't have that, so this area is just open here. You can buy the biogas plant if you come onto those, of course. Our digestate tank is around the side here. Now, as far as I can tell, this bit to the left hand side there is the PC bit, where it says about the manure system for PC and the manure system lagoon. I think that's what that is, the manure system lagoon, which obviously on console we don't have, but we do have a digestate tank to the side there. So yeah. Continuing. I haven't decided what I'm going to use. At the point of recording this, I haven't decided what thumbnail I'm going to use yet. I've taken a few pictures, but things like that, besides went past that, the concrete culvert with the ditches, drainage ditches, you know, it's either going to be drainage or irrigation or both, or, you know, because you're right by the coast, you can imagine at different times there might be flooding and you want the water to drain away as quickly and easy as possible. But again, this bit here, I don't know, I really like these additions. You know, yes, alright, it makes the slot count of a map a bit higher, but sometimes you think there's a trade-off. You know, I can understand it when a slot count is high. When you look around the map and think, wow, I mean, look at the detail on it. It's when you get a high slot count map that doesn't really seem to have very much on it, you then think to yourself, how? Why has this got such a high slot count? You can understand with this. I mean, it's not ridiculously high, but it's, you know, I guess high-ish for a smallish map. Livestock market we'll come up on now. So we are now pretty much in the southern point of the map. Livestock market is just there, so if you want to collect your animals yourself, you do it from here. We are now heading west. well, now we're heading north, but we're going to be heading west in just a second. And we're going to take the first turning, if I recall correctly. Oh, actually, I want to show you something first. Let's whiz down here before I forget. We're not going to be heading over there, but I suppose I could go cross country. I might do that, but again, just a nice feature, just thrown in. If you're doing a storyline, let's play, you know, there's things you can add in, nice elements to this. With various different mods that have come out recently as well, there's all sorts of things, ideas buzzing around my head. You think, oh, I could do this, I could do that. Now, I apologise at this point, I'm just going to cut through this field, otherwise I'm going to have to go all the way back round again. I will go around the edge, so hopefully not to damage any crops. What we are doing now is heading up towards the second of the cow enclosures, I think. At the main farm it's more of a barn setup. There is a bit of a pasture behind it, but what I like about this, you've got two. So on this map you've got this one here as well, which is more of a kind of, I suppose in my head I'm thinking more of a summer pasture. It's that same concept of maybe having all your cows over at the main farm, then in the summer bring them out here. But the good thing with this, as opposed to a lot of the pastures that are designed for seasons, this one is, for all intents and purposes, it's a standalone one. You can still feed them and they're still going to produce milk and all the rest of it, because you've got your milk collection point here, you've got your feed trough and water trough, and you've got a nice open field pasture area here. But again, this was one that on Start From Scratch and Farm Manager, these, both the icons here had gone, and when I came back on and bought the plot, they didn't come back. So what I'm going to do though is click on that. That's the hayloft. So we've got the barn pen, the animal pen here, but this here is your hayloft. So this is all built in, so you can store your hay and straw in here as well as a kind of secondary option to this too, which is all very nice. Right, continuing. We're going to head up to the main village now. The premise being that this is a small village at the Baltic Sea. I don't think it has a name itself, but most of the rest of the sale points are all clustered up around the village, which is over there on the western side of the map, kind of northwest. Yeah, they all head up to the northwest. There's our main farm where we started, back on the main road. So we're going to head west. Oh, actually on the right side of the road. So a little area of forestry I showed much earlier on. There's a little bit there. There's a nice little kind of placeable flat area directly in front of that, with a little shelter and stuff. So if you want to do maybe a bit of forestry and have some forestry equipment there, or again, however your mind works and feels like going. I mean, this has had a major revamp. As I'm driving around thinking, yeah, I remember coming around this before in FS17, but as I've said, my rule of thumb when I look at maps that have been converted, has enough been done to make it feel fresh and new? On this one, absolutely it has. You know, a lot of the features are still there, but they're all kind of integrated in different ways and things have changed. So we are now at the store. I'm going to show you on the map where we are. We came from this pen here up to the main road. We've come along the main road here, and we're now at this section here. So we're on the western side of the map, as you can see, and as we head up there, we're going to be heading to the northwestern part of the map. But we are at the store just here. Shop trigger is just there. Workshop trigger for repair, customization, selling is just there. Your reset point is here as well, so if you tip something over, get it stuck, it's irretrievable, and you reset it, will reset back to this point here. When you buy stuff, it also spawns here. Plenty of space, nice open area for getting vehicles in and out, which is always very handy. Moving on, we have got fuel station just opposite. Just there on the left. We're going to head down here. On the right hand side, we come down to another sell point. So we've got milk sell point tucked around the back here. which is down here. But what we've also got, we don't get very much anymore on maps when new maps come out. A lot of map makers don't include it because, well, I suppose with all the different mods and all the various different things you can place yourself, with that concept of being able to place things wherever you want to, with landscaping and sort of things. But what we do have, we've got a seed buy point, so we can buy our seed. You can have pallets and stuff as well, you can do that in the main store and have pallets and things, but we've got a seed buy point, and we've got a fertiliser buy point just over here. And then we've got a manure selling point. So we've got the milk sell point, manure selling point, and we've got 2 buy points, fertiliser and seed. And like I say, a lot of map makers don't include them anymore because there's not a lot of point. People don't want to be restricted a lot of time to having to go to one place, or if they do, they want to place that place themselves. Or some people put seed and fertiliser triggers at the main farm, whatever. But it's a nice touch. It kind of adds that something you can, you know, have it as a kind of garden centre type thing if you want to go down that route. Crossing the road and coming the other side, right the way around the back here. These trains don't run that I've seen so far. Haven't seen them moving at all. But all the way around the back here we've got our spinnery sell point, which is just around the back here, tucked away. There's our spinnery. What I would love to see come back, and I really liked it, it was on FS15. It was FS15, wasn't it? On Sosnovka and... was it Westbridge Hills? I'm trying to think. Mine's gone blank. Was that thing where you loaded the train up and then you pulled the lever and the train went off? It was a small thing, but I kind of... when you think the way the game's evolved, and I know we've got, on certain maps, we've got entire trains, you know, that will run random train tracks and that kind of thing. But that idea, that concept of coming to a sell point, loading up a train, then sending it on its way, I did really like that. It was a nice feature. Anyway, that being said, we are now coming through to the sawmill. The only reason I say that is because of what I'm going to show you now. It's just in my head. We've got a wood chip sell point just aside there. And we've got a lumber sell point here, and the lumber sell point is right by this train car, which you think to yourself, or carriage, or however you refer to it, it would be cool that if you unloaded your logs and that kind of maybe filled up a bit or something, it just an animation of it filling up, even if it wasn't completely full, then you pull a lever and off it goes. You know, I don't know. To me, I just think it'd be a cool thing. I'm not blaming the map maker. I'm just saying, in general, on the game, not specifically this map. But so that's your sawmill. Which then brings us to the last of the sell points, I think. We're coming up on the grain mill, which is pretty much the northeast. We've got another placeable point just to the left here. If you want to put something on it, whether it be silos or whatever. You might decide to have your farm up here, it's entirely up to you. Which I'm not going that much faster, to be fair. So as we come up to the northeast, I'm sure it's grain mill, we'll have a look in a second. So, just tucked in here again, right by the railway. So you've got that again, that sense of stuff gets loaded in here and off it goes by train, which again I really like. There's your sell point just there. So we've come all up here, up past the sawmill. We are now, the grain mill, up at the grain mill. You can't go any further than that up there. That's kind of additional. Now, weirdly, I say weirdly, you can buy all the periphery of the map, all the water and that kind of stuff. It does take in a few little bits of land, but it's about 15 million. I know on some maps, map makers put it as 0, so you can buy it if you want to. But it's 15 million for buying all the peripheral bits, which is fairly expensive. So what I'm going to do now, after that, little nursery. Again, it's just all those added little things. Next turn I'm going to take a left, we're going to head back towards the main farm. That, for all intents and purposes, is the map. That's all the sell points, that's everything. Like I say, it's not a huge map, but I think driving around it, it's deceptive because it feels big, you know. I find that on some maps, you know, just by the routes you take and the roads you travel, there are various different tracks and roads that kind of cut across the map and zigzag around, or zigzag's probably the wrong word, but it's a lovely map, really nice feel to it. Did I mention it was seasons ready? I think I did. It is seasons ready. So yeah, Baltic Sea by Redkeinstus. As we keep going, we're coming up on the farm now. The bridge that we went under when we left the farm heading north, we are now coming to and heading over it. You can take that little turn in there which takes you back down in towards the farm, but I'm going to pull up here just over the bridge. So that's how we went under and we left the farm, and there's our main farm just there. So there you go, that's it. That's Baltic Sea by Redkeinstus. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.